We'll be beginning now. Food is on its way, so we'll let you know when it arrives. And we'll just like take a short break from lecture from there. Um, oh yeah, some announcements. The sprint tournament is happening on Wednesday, which means the deadline to submit is tomorrow at 8 p.m. EST. If you guys haven't uploaded your code yet, you just compile using BC19 compile the directories that you want, and then you upload using BC19 upload. Cool.
And again, the sprint tournament is just like a fun, early, what have you done in the first week? Probably nothing that works without bugs, but it's fine tournament. You get bragging rights for 2 weeks and like a prize at the final tournament if you win. Mostly it's just for fun, so don't be too stressed about it.
And it's a good time to view other people's bots. If you basically all of Wednesday will be commentating on the sprint tournament battles, and you get to see all of the battles between teams on Wednesday. So that'll be fun to see. Other announcements: we're currently trying to fix the password reset. I know a lot of people have forgotten their passwords or have had issues logging in. We're trying to fix those as soon as possible. If We'll announce when that happens, and if you still have issues, just please contact Battlecode at mit.edu, which is, yeah. Okay, great. So do you want to start it off?
Yeah, so all right, so today you may be in the last day of improvements before the sprint tournament. Maybe you're a little bit hurried, pushing through some code that maybe you didn't test fully before committing and sharing with the rest of your team. This can tank a bot for the sprint tournament if you push some new untested change 5 minutes before the deadline, and then you test it for the first time in the tournament and everything goes to the top left corner, which happened to me once. So in this last day, we thought we would suggest some more sane coding practices particularly for collaborating with your team. So I'm going to first talk about like Git branching and pull requests and stuff so that other people can look at the code and hopefully catch bugs before they go into your bot forever. Oh, darn. Wasn't it on a second ago? What if I just unplug it and plug it back in?
Yes, tech at its finest. Probably, though. Oh. Oh, great.
All right, good. All right, so just to start out, we're going to go and look at example funcs player. So right now, there are actually 3 branches because we've secretly been doing something like this behind the scenes. Oh, what
the heck? You could also just like move it over to there because those ports actually work.
I mean, this one should work.
Yeah.
I switched ports. But... All right. I guess we should go over to the corner. Okay.
All right, to the corner.
I'm sold. All right. Sorry, Twitch. We are migrating to... Do you want me to grab your cord?
Yeah.
I'll grab it. We're migrating to a better HDMI input, apparently. Okay.
This is HDMI 1.
Oh, did I do the right HDMI? This is HDMI PC1. This is PC2.
Oh, this is PC2.
Yeah.
Okay.
Great. Nice. Okay. All right, we're projecting again. Okay, anyways, so a couple of the branches that we've had before are, for example, like pushing the nav from one of the past lectures to like, we put it on a branch first so we could make sure like to share it without breaking what was currently on master, which is what's visible to everybody. I mean, this is visible to everyone also, but master is the default branch. So like when you git clone example funcs player, you're getting what's on master. And we wanted to, push code back and forth on a separate branch so that we could collaborate without having, some work in progress be what people would download, and then they would be sad about the bot not working. And then there was also, the broken Java branch was for the same thing, but for the Java example player when that wasn't working, and we didn't want broken code to be on master. So you too may prefer to have a version of your bot that always works, which would be a good idea. So you may find yourself and your team wanting to. All right, let's do this. Oh, cool. Okay. Is this? Wait, this is an example funcs player, isn't it? No. CD example. Oh, of course. Okay. Okay. So now we are, so we're on master, an example funcs player. I don't know your SSH. Can you type in the password? Right. So we're on master. We have a currently working version. Great. We just pulled. Everything's up to date. But now, maybe we want to add. So I don't know. One thing you may have noticed is that profits can shoot really far, right? But they're pretty weak. So if you let anything get near them, they're going to die. Especially mages. What are mages again? Oh, the preachers. Thank you. Okay. Right. So if a preacher gets near one of the prophets, it's just done for, right? But fortunately, prophets have really long range, and the preachers are slow. So maybe we've been talking, and we think we want to make it so that prophets will actually run away whenever they see preachers, but keep them in the attack range. So they can always escape from the preachers because they're faster. So if they just stay at the edge of their attack range, then they should be able to keep shooting the preacher without actually getting damaged themselves. So, all right, so great. So maybe we want to work on that. So I'll create a new branch with git. So checkout is how you switch branches. So first, for example, we can say git branch just to list all of the branches. Great, so we see that Kelvin actually had a couple of local branches that he didn't bother pushing to the GitHub because he was just working on them locally and wanted to compare a couple of different ideas without losing his changes in other directions. So great. So we saw git branch. We could switch to a different branch. So we could say git checkout broken Java, for example. And now we're on branch broken Java. If we git pull, it'll now. Oh, all right. That's fine. I'm not going to pull then. Can I cancel this? I'm trying. Oh, Control C. Right. Okay. All right. Thanks. All right. So we're not going to pull because I don't want to type. I don't know his password. But so now we're on a different branch. This could have totally different code here. There's plenty of stuff in the Java bot that's on this branch that isn't in the live version, etc. But what we really want is we want to go back to master. We want to start from master, and we want to say get checkout -b, which is checkout and create a new branch. And we're going to call it not pilgrim, prophet. Prophet, I don't know, combat or something. So this is the branch that we're going to use to improve prophet combat, like I was just talking about. So now we can say to put it on. So right now this is only a local branch. So if we go back to GitHub here and we refresh, we're going to see there's still no prophet combat. To make it synced with GitHub and to be able to push and pull like everything else on master, you have to say git push and then -u, which is to set the upstream. So whenever you push, it's like, what do I push to? So the -u tells it, well, we're going to push to origin, which is GitHub, in this case, github.com. And I want to push from the branch prophet combat, which I just created. I need your password one more time. I'm also about to hand it off to you in a second.
That's
to
okay.
do this.
Okay.
All right, so now if we go to GitHub, we'll see there's this new branch, Prophet Combat. It is 0 commits behind master and 0 commits ahead of master. So for example, Broken Java, 11 commits have happened on master since Broken Java was last synced with master, and 5 commits are on that branch that master doesn't know about. So that's what this 11.5 bar means. But as we would expect, since we just branched off of master, Prophet Combat is still even with it. It has all the same changes and everything. But now, to simulate what this is actually like, Kelvin is going to go through some more example like combat improvements while I make some changes to nav or something, and then we'll show you like merging those two branches together. And like in the meantime, example funcs player will work the entire time because we're working on separate branches that are not master. So people can still download example funcs player and it won't have like partially implemented versions of whatever we're doing. So cool.
Great. All right. Awesome. So now that we're working on Prophet Combat, I'm sure people have noticed that so far that we've done in lecture, we've only coded up one bot, and it's the Crusader, even though there are actually 3 attacking units that you can build. And so obviously the goal is not to just build one type, although it would be easier for your own development to start off with one type. In the end, yes.
We're actually a bit confused about what the 3R square means in the preacher.
In the 3R squared. Okay, great.
Yeah, so if you have your grid, right, this is, so like if this is your current location, then like this tile is like square root 2 away, right? So this tile is exactly 2r squared distance away, right? So this is only 1, so this is 1r squared. So where r is the radius, right? So this one up here, this is 2, so this is 4r squared.
Oh.
Right. So and then like this one, yeah. So this is also 2. So this is 2r squared. This is 1, 1, 2, 4. This one would be like, so this would be 2 and then over 1. So that would be 5r squared. That's a total 5. 5r squared. So 3 includes these 8 tiles, but not like this tile or any of the ones farther away. Does that r squared notation make sense?
Okay. Yes, that makes sense. Thank you very much.
Great.
What was your question?
If like for the other ones, since there's no squares,
Yeah. Yeah, so the Crusader and the Prophet, when they attack, they only attack the square that you tell it to attack at. But for the Preacher, it not only attacks the square that you attack to, but it attacks the basically 8 adjacent tiles next to it. Yeah, and we just made a push recently, or like an update to the Battlecode, so that before Preachers could not actually attack empty tiles. Now you're allowed to attack empty tiles, just because you might have like something next to it that has a splash damage, or like that could be affected by the splash damage, and you feel that like attacking an empty tile is best. Great. Are there any other questions before we move on?
Is it possible to upload images to Twitch chat? They want to see the diagram.
Do they want to see the diagram?
I'll just take a picture.
Yeah, take a picture and link it in the Twitch chat. All right, great. So we have 3 of these units, and so the idea here is that like basically like none of these units are like strictly better than the other ones. So if you notice between the Crusader and the Prophet has a much wider vision and it has a much wider attack radius range, but it's the only one over here where the base or the lower attack, the minimum attack range is not 1. So basically what this means is that you can't actually, if something's too close to the Prophet, you it won't be able to attack it. And couple that with the fact that the Crusader has a movement speed of 9, whereas the Prophet only has a movement speed of 4. This means that the Crusader is actually able to rush in and quickly kill a Prophet before a Prophet's able to kill the Crusader. That and coupled with the Prophet having a really low HP value. Comparing the Crusader and the Preacher has a lot more health, 60, and does actually more attack per turn. So between a Crusader and a Preacher who have the same attack range, so they have to be within range of each other to actually attack, the Crusader wins out just because it's able to tank out more damage from the Crusader and deal more damage to the Crusader as well. And then between the Prophet and the Preacher, notice here that the vision radius of the Preacher is actually lower than the Prophet. So if the Prophet's able to keep outside of the Preacher's vision radius and just keep on attacking, well, if the Prophet attacks the Preacher and the Preacher really can't attack back, then you have an issue. So over here, we really have like a situation where the Prophet and the Preacher win out. And so we can actually display a lot of these just by running really simple code. So over the weekend, what we did to the robot.js is that not only does it start actually collecting carbonite from pilgrims, which we did in a previous lecture, now what we also have is this little bit over here where instead of just like building the Crusader, it's actually just going to choose randomly between the Crusader, the Prophet, and the Preacher. And so it'll choose one of these 3 randomly and then try to send that off to attack the enemy castles. So again, we're still going with this like super rush strategy of like trying to build as fast as possible and then like sending them one at a time right at the enemy. So let's see how this goes. So go into EFP, cd into, let me just make this a little bit larger, cd into bots and the example.js. Oh, and if it wasn't obvious, we're going to be coding in JavaScript today. I know a lot of people have changed to JavaScript, and just because we want to have like better debugging in during lecture. So if you, all of the things that we're doing over here translates pretty well into Python, so don't worry too much. So we're just going to run a battle, bc19 run, and we're going to run the same bots against each other. And also, I just happened to find this seed 16, which is really nice. Okay, great. So we're getting some attacks. All right, and now if we go over here and go into the replay, what we get is a nice visualization. Over here, what we're starting off with, if I could actually move around on this. Great. Let's just quickly re-upload this if the website would actually work. That's sad. Josh, what would happen here if like I like had the website and it doesn't run? All right. Hard refresh. Oh, here we go. Oh. That's also exciting. Okay, well, we'll wait for the replay for later. Right now, you can trust that for right now, most of the things that we just talked about really worked. Like the Crusader actually does get completely demolished when it goes up against one of the Preachers, and the Prophets. But one thing the Prophet actually gets killed pretty quickly by Crusaders just because it has a lower health and isn't able to do enough damage before the Crusaders are able to come in close enough range into them. The only thing over here is that Prophets and Preachers in our base code don't actually have the interaction we are talking about just because.
I'll just log in.
Okay, great. Preachers don't actually try to navigate around Prophets and use their larger vision radius to look for them.
Oh no. That's definitely the right username and password.
Yeah, that's how I feel too. Yeah.
All right.
Oh.
We'll fix that.
Okay, so if you guys aren't on the Discord, also we're doing a little bit of maintenance today just for the password reset. There's a few things we need to do in the back end. So at some point tonight, the servers will probably go down for a short period of time. Do not panic, we're just trying to make sure that people can access their accounts that they may or may not have lost. Although over here we're getting a 404, so that's extra not good. All right, so let's start with this. All right, so over here, what we have is basically we want to do something called profit combat. So instead of just randomly creating a sum unit, let's just comment out this code and try to build only profits. So this dot profit or specs dot profit. Great. And so up here, if you remember our previous code, all we really do is that when we're just going to look at all the attackable units and then decide from there. But now we also have to worry about the units that can attack us. So what we're going to do over here is var attacking units is equal to visible the visible units dot filter. And so the filter for us is we're going to look at all the robots in our visible range, and var attacking is visible dot filter. So if if r dot team is the same as our team, basically it's on the same side, we actually really should not worry about this, so we'll return false. And then if r dot and over here we're just going to quickly change this so that this only deals with the profit. We'll change this later on to and merge this a little bit more carefully. So if r dot if r dot distance, okay, great. So if the squared distance between the robot and me is less than or equal to the specs great. And so basically what we're doing here is that we're going to see if they're within our attack radius. Basically, we're going to look and see if visible is not defined. Whoops. Great. And so if it's within our attack radius, we're going to return true because we can see them, they're within our attack radius, we can't actually attack them. Great. Me.team, this dot me.team. All right, great. So now what we've done here is that we have essentially we're essentially looking at and seeing if anything is actually attacking us. So right now what we're going to say is if we see something that's within our attack radius, we're just going to run away in the fastest possible direction. So if we actually have something attacking us, basically that this list of attacking robots is greater than 0, what we're going to do is say const attacker is equal to the first thing in this list. Attacking 0. So what we're going to do is use this thing from nav.p to calculate the direction to go towards that person and then just go in the complete opposite direction. Great. So const direction is equal to nav.calculate direction. Calculate direction. Okay, whoops. That was not the right one. So we're going to go over here and get direction. And so we are this dot me, and the target is the robot. Great. And so const other direction is just going to be the negative Great. And then we're just going to add this like extra, actually, we're just going to move away from them for right now. So the other direction is this way, and we're just going to say we're going to try moving in this direction. So this dot move, other direction, dot x, other direction, dot y. And so this is a little bit of, this is just really simple code, and what we're going to do is try to run the other way when we see something that's within our attack radius. And hopefully this will turn out pretty well. So what we've done over here is now that we've created this profit code, what we're going to also do is quickly just download and Nate's branch again and create like the master branch. And this could be a way for you guys to just like this is a way to just like test your robots against each other if they're on different branches. So we're going to clone Nate's example funcs player and then call it example funcs player 2, or maybe also worse, maybe, assuming that it's a little bit worse than what we've currently written. And so what we can do now is we can run our commands. So BC19 run. The red team will be the one we just created. EFP bots Java example JS, and then the blue is going to be EFP worse bots example JS. Oh, excellent. We've done something. All right. So the red, and let's see what's happening if we ever log in.
Which also says that if you just refresh and try again a couple of times, it should work.
Oh, logging in. Oh, yeah, we did it. Great. Okay, so here we are. Oh, this is not the right replay. Okay, so they actually put it over here. Do you know why sometimes we can't like actually scroll down? Oh, there we go.
You have to click outside of like that middle section.
Oh, there we go. I see. Oh. Great. It looks like we're able to create a plethora of these preachers, prophets, and basically, I don't actually know why they're like spreading out all around, but we see that we have a little bit of extra behavior. So let's just try running this on a different game and seeing what we get. Okay, and we'll just also add this seed. Great. And upload it. Okay, excellent. So it looks like red is creating a lot of extra preachers, extra prophets. Over here we actually have a prophet battle, so we don't actually see all the really cool things that these prophets could be doing. So let's actually just edit Nate's other or the other bot so that it only creates preachers and doesn't actually try to create anything else. So over here, what we're going to do is go into the example.js, edit robot.js just slightly, specs.profit. Great. All right. Oh, excellent. Don't even. Oh, did we actually? We created the wrong unit. That's why. Over here, specs.preacher. Great. And run this one last time. Great. So now if we view the replay, our red team, which is the modified example funcs player that's creating only preachers, prophets, and the blue team should be only creating preachers. And so let's see how this matchup goes. Great. Excellent. So you can sort of see that Prophet starting to backtrack once it realizes this preacher is getting too close, and it's actually able to handle these pretty okay, except for our own castle being destroyed. So overall, if you're able to build more Prophet at the same time, you'll get basically, and they are easier to make. I think they're almost half the carbonite cost. Oh no, they're less. They're less, not half. Actually, much more than half. But basically, you're able to build a lot more of these, and you're able to actually take on different units. So I guess the end part of this this last strategy-ish part of the lecture series is that you really should be careful on what your opponent is building. So depending on whether they're building Crusaders or Prophets or Preachers or other mixes of them, you should be also ready to build reactively, whether it is sending messages back to your castle and telling them what sort of units are being produced so that you can produce other units, I guess, reactively. So now that we've actually been able to code a little bit, the last part of this that we wanted to do for coding practices today is to just show you guys merging this back onto master. So if I go to master, if I go back into my files, cdefp, you can do git status to check what you've changed, and over here, what we've changed is just the robot.js. So then what we can do is git add -a adds all the files, which is only one for right now. And if you status again, you can check that we actually did commit. We're about to commit this file, and then we can go git commit. If you don't have much to say, you can actually use the -m flag to write a short commit message. So git commit preachers prophets run away now. Great. Git push. All right, excellent. So now if we go back onto the repository, we can actually see Prophet Comeback was pushed less than a minute ago. And so if you guys are far away, or you want someone to sort of look at your code before you directly merge it onto master and maybe, hopefully not break anything, but maybe break something, you can create a pull request. And so what pull requests do is it allows other people to basically look at the code that you're writing and basically comment and review what you've done so that they can sort of you can come to a consensus of whether or not this code actually works or whether or not you want to just scrap this entirely. And believe me, you will probably be scrapping code sometime during Battlecode. I definitely scrapped a lot of code in previous years. So create pull request. And so because right now me and Nate are the only people developing on this, we can actually ask Nate to view this. So Nate.
Yes.
Okay, great. So basically he's able to view everything that I've done up close and personal, all the changes that I've made, and everything that I've done. So over here, he and I both have the choice of whether or not to actually merge this back into master or to keep it in.
I'll just add a comment.
Okay, great. And he's also able to view my branch and edit it and add commits as he desires. Great. And one thing to show just while he's doing that is that if you're not quite sure what exactly caused a certain bug or like when exactly a bug was introduced, a nice thing you can do is something called git blame. And it's exactly that. You're looking for the blame of whoever is responsible for this code. So what you can do over here is go over here. Yeah, so we have this thing called blame. It actually lists what commit each part of the code is from. So over here, you can see that this is part of one commit that added these lines over here. These were part of these, and yeah, every like line of code can be traced back to the commit that most recently touched it. And so this is really helpful for in case you're like, what the heck, I didn't write this, where did this code come from? And then you can sort of direct your attention to whoever actually did it. And it's much better than reading your code basically commit by commit because there can be a lot of commits and you definitely don't want to do that. All right, Nate, do you have a pull request in?
Yeah, if you refresh the PR, you should see that happens.
Okay, great. So he's able to comment this. So he brings up a valid question. Are you sure we only want to build profits? The answer is probably not, but this is example funcs player. We don't want it to get too smart because this is eventually what you guys are going to be running against to get credit for this class. Did he make any other comments?
No, that was it.
Okay, great. And the answer for right now is yes, we only want to build profits because that's pretty easy to go against. And so once you can either resolve this conversation and like comment back at him, or you can just go ahead and merge. So we're just going to merge this pull request. And now everyone that is pulling from the example funcs player is now only going to be producing only producing profits if you're running the JavaScript. I guess, are there any questions so far? Great. All right, cool. That's all we actually had planned for today. So I think in a few minutes, the dinner will be coming.
Domino's is on its way.
Yeah, Domino's is on its way. So hang on, stick tight, and take this time to either code with your friends, talk to your team members about Battlecode, and Nate, myself, and Josh will be staying here for a little bit of time in case you had questions. Think that Battlecode is bugged up, think that your code is bugged up. Basically, we're here to help you guys. So see you guys, or see you guys to the stream, and feel free to just ask questions if you're in the room.